Should we get cracka-lackin?
Cracka-lackin.
Cracka-lackin. It's Wednesday night, and that's the night of fun and frivolity. Frivolity?
Frivolousness.
Fuck. I need a dictionary just to get myself through this particular
A
video.
thesaurus.
Anyway, it's time for some fun. Hey everybody, welcome to Up Late with Glenn and Chloe. I'm Glenn.
I'm Chloe.
And Chloe comes to us. I don't know what's that look you got going on there. Is it 1960s housewife? Is it like you look maybe from one of those sisters from The Help or something? I don't know. What are we going for?
It's called this dork Chloe was trying to be cool, and I think this is what like the cool kids are wearing these days. So I tried it.
So
I didn't pull it off.
You've all heard of the Bloods and the Crips. So what have we got there? The Brews. I don't know what.
The K-mart specials is what this one's called. So K for K-mart.
The K bangers.
K Wankers.
Yeah, you'll see them at the parking lot after dark, 24-hour Burwood Kmart.
You'll see us pull up in our pimped up four-wheel drives that we don't go forward driving into Kmart after school drop off, and just spend on all of our husbands' money on shit we don't need.
Yeah, like big round things that hang in your bathroom that you put like little shelves on and stuff, and they got rope that you hang them with.
I have two of those that I have to hang on the weekend.
I've got one too.
They're sitting in my bedroom ready to be hung. I am a K-mart wanker. I'll happily be a K-mart wanker. I love that place.
And I'm a sidekick apparently. Fucking hell.
Oh, that's funny.
That's I don't know if you've stumbled across this video because it's the first time. You might be someone that follows my stuff. You might be someone that follows Chloe's stuff. This is just some nonsense that we do every Wednesday night. We just ramble on about some movie stuff. Now, last week on the video, I don't think we addressed a couple of things, including, if I'm not mistaken, Ivan Reitman's passing. Did we talk about that?
No, that happened. Yeah, no, we didn't actually.
Yeah. So that was, sad, and we've done a tribute video on the Good Movie Monday social media pages and whatnot. But yeah, that's sad. Like that's a huge chunk of my childhood right there.
Yeah, I remember watching Meatballs for the first time and just laughing my ass off. And I wasn't overly familiar with him myself, but I remember that movie for sure.
The night he died, we had meatballs for dinner in tribute.
Oh my gosh, that's nice.
Yeah, I've got a meatballs poster hanging in front of me in my office here, like framed. And would you like some aerosol?
No, it's fine. Keep going. Sorry.
Okay.
Please, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's
Keep
okay.
going.
That's he had nothing to do with the great outdoors. Is that what you were trying to reenact then?
Yes. Yeah. I was just playing into like fart jokes and stupid things that I was.
Yeah, but like Meatballs, obviously Ghostbusters is a big one. Stripes and Evolution and My Super Ex-Girlfriend. If you're into that, like he's done so many cool movies. Twins, Junior, like just yeah.
Stripes was one of my first Bill Murray movies.
Right.
That I watched, and it's still probably my favorite Bill Murray movie.
I think that's the movie that he made off the back of Meatballs, because Meatballs was his first step onto the big screen. He had made a movie called Disco Beaver from Outer Space, which was a sketch comedy thing that they did before SNL. Like some of the cast from SNL had did it, but it was more of a cable television thing. So Meatballs was definitely his big screen debut. But yeah, Stripes it's a good one. My favorite Bill Murray film, I think my favorite Bill Murray film is probably What About Bob?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I think that's just an amazing film. Yeah, so sad news. And interestingly, up until the last minute, we were actually going to have Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman, who directed Ghostbusters Afterlife, on our first show back on Good Movie Monday.
Oh, wow.
On March 7th, but that all sort of fell apart sort of, a week and a half ago, just sort of before he passed away. So, probably for the best, because it would not been a upbeat conversation.
No, probably not. Look, things happen for a reason, I think, and I think it's just kind of you'll get the timing, but maybe not this time.
Yeah. And what else? What else was there? There was other stuff we didn't talk about. I've gone blank. Have you got anything there while I think about it?
Well, we were talking about the Oscars, and I saw that one of Encanto's songs got nominated for Best Original song, I think it was, but I'm not quite sure which one it is, and I don't think it really
Oh,
deserves
I was
best
going to say.
original.
I mean, because the music from Encanto is some of the best Disney music I've heard. Was it the Bruno song?
I can't quite remember. No, it's not the Bruno song. I can't quite remember. I think I actually screenshotted it, but
That's
I don't
okay.
quite know which one it is. But I think Bruno, or at least Luisa's song, should definitely be up there, because that song would have resonated with so many people.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they've done it in that. I mean, all the songs are bangers. Like, there's not a bad song to be found in that movie. So maybe it's the one that's hit the charts. Maybe it's one that's
Yeah, probably.
resonating harder. But yeah, what a great film that is.
So great, so great. It definitely deserves Oscar. It's Oscar worthy, definitely.
I
But a
I think
couple
it's
of
one of
other,
I think it's one of the best Disney films of all time.
I don't know about all time, but it's definitely, like, in recent times, it's definitely one of the better ones. I think, Lin-Manuel Miranda contributing to the Disney is just the best thing that's ever happened, and collaborating is the best thing that ever happened to Disney apart from Randy Newman, so I can definitely get behind it. Absolutely.
About 30 seconds ago, that fly just came right up to the camera.
I know. I'm trying to ignore it now.
That's right. Cue slow mo. And right after it did that, your voice kind of went like pixelated a little bit, so you sounded like a blowfly.
Oh no.
Just
I
don't
kind of
turn
look
into
like a
a fly.
blowfly today. Yeah. I
No.
kind of look like one.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to talk about the best animated feature from the Oscar talk. Again, continue on with the Oscar talk. So many good animated films being nominated. Encanto being one, Raya and the Last Dragon, Luca. Have you seen that yet?
I was talking about Luca to somebody about 5 minutes before we recorded. I have seen Luca, and I'm not a massive fan of it. I didn't dislike it, but I found the middle act really lagged heavily. I think it was sorely missing music and songs, and I don't know. I found it a very uneventful story.
Oh, I think it's just the most beautiful. I think it's so different compared to other movies that they've been putting out, and I think it's just so beautiful.
Yeah,
We've watched it a million times.
No, that's great. That's great. Like you're obviously an audience they want, and I just don't know. I didn't find it that original because it's basically it's like Splash meets whatever. It's like a mermaid story. I found it non-eventful. I mean, it had some really nice moments, and there's a lot of sentimental stuff in there. But yeah, that middle act just went nowhere for me. And Mel felt the same way when we were watching it together. We just sort of we never fast forward, but I was like, I feel like fast forwarding, but we stuck it out.
Try it again. Try it again.
I mean, it comes home strong, so
yeah. Well, it's definitely been a favorite in this house. I don't know. It's just it's just something fun, a little bit different for us. Yeah. It's a little bit different, and it goes to show, well, for us anyway, that you don't need poppy music to actually enjoy a good animated film.
Totally.
But also on the list is The Mitchells versus the Machines. Now, I watched this as soon as it came out. Far out. How good is Mitchells versus the Machines?
It's really good. When we did our Christmas show back in December, James listed that as, I think, his favourite film of the year when we talked about what our favourite films were.
It was on my list.
Yeah, and he said just simply because it's a movie he can watch with the kids and the wife, and they've done it, repeatedly. So it definitely has staying value. It's a clever story. It's a relevant story. It's a funny story. Yeah, it's a wonderful movie.
The animation is just so intriguing and so different as well, and it's I love how they incorporated LGBTQ like into the main characters. I think it's just it's brilliant.
Yeah, and did it really discreetly. Like, it wasn't just in your face or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the shame about this movie is that it never really landed in Australia. Like, in America, it did big business. Like, it was a popular film, but here, you're lucky to find one copy in a retailer. Like, it's a movie that really did not resonate. But I think now it's got an Oscar nom, it may have a bit of an afterlife.
I hope so. It deserves it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've watched that a couple of times. I'm so glad it's getting a nod there. When I saw it on the list, I'm like, yes, thank God. Like I can finally get behind the Oscars again. Just purely
awesome.
for that selection, I can. So
yeah,
definitely.
Is that all that's on the list for the animated films?
Raya and the Last Dragon, which was
Yep.
it didn't blow me away, but it was nice.
Yep.
And Flea, which is probably the only one I haven't seen. I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that either. Is that an English language one or is it a foreign?
No, I think it's a foreign film.
Yeah. They always throw an arty kind of animation in there.
Yeah, I think that's that one.
Well, let's stick on kids movies because the trailer over the last week has dropped for the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie. Have you watched this trailer?
No, I haven't. New Chip and Dales.
Fantastic. It is really, really fun looking. It's a live action one with them being, animated a bit like Tom and Jerry and all that, but this one looks very clever, very self-referential. It's got your Seth Rogens in there and like that kind of caliber of player. Yeah, watch the trailer. Everyone, watch the trailer. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a film. It's not an event series because I'm getting sick of them adapting things, and you find out that it's going to be like 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm like, fucking just give me a movie. I just want a movie. Movies are good.
Yeah.
So this one is a movie, and I think it's going to be a small theatrical release followed by streaming, maybe Netflix or something like that.
Yep, cute.
Yeah,
I love that.
We can flow ride that into Seth Rogen. Has a Ninja Turtles movie coming out.
Okay.
I think he's producing it, maybe writing it, and it's due out in like 2023, I think, next year.
Okay.
Ninja Turtles is a fascinating one. Like they've never really delivered on the promise of, like when the original cartoon came out in the 80s, it was the greatest thing ever for my generation. And then that first movie came out in like 1988 or 89. Or even 90. I can't remember what year it was.
I think it was 90. I'm pretty sure it was 90.
Might be 90. I was certainly in primary school at the time. That was a fantastic movie and a really, really good adaptation. Number 2 was okay. Number 3 we won't talk about. So since then, though, the Ninja Turtle movies they've made, whether it's the animated one or the Michael Bay ones, they've just not stuck the landing, whereas I'm hoping this new one will. Who knows?
I agree. I think Bay tried to what's the word? Tried to transform it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he tried to follow on that route, which they're completely separate franchises. You can't do one with the other. It needed to be its own entity where it tried to fit into that world, I think.
He wanted to blockbusterify it.
Yeah, which I don't think it needs to. It has its own standing. You can't go wrong with a Ninja Turtle unless you Michael Bay it. So,
well, I wonder what this one's going to be, whether it's an animated film or if it's going to be live action. I hope it's a live action. I really enjoy the live action adaptations of animated properties.
Seth Rogen is an interesting choice, but when I think on it, I think he might actually do a really good job in bringing that kind of family-friendly, stonery sort of vibe to it.
Not only that, like it's been proven over the years that some of the best dramatic actors are comedians, and so having someone that's not known for this kind of stuff might work. For example, Danny McBride, who I'm sure you know from a lot of Seth Rogen films, he wrote the new trilogy of Halloween movies.
Yeah, he's really into horror, is he not?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Seth Rogen, for all we know, is like a huge, sycophant for this stuff and might give us something good. Who knows?
I hope so. If anyone can do it, I'm thinking he's probably one of the guys to do it. So, good luck to him, and I hope it works out.
Yep. Have you watched the trailer for Doctor Strange 2?
No, I'm not a huge Doctor Strange person, my husband loves Doctor Strange, so I'm sure he's seen it. But no, I haven't gone out of my way to watch that one.
Doctor Strange is one of those few Marvel films I really enjoy. And this one, just for fans, is a real crowd pleaser because it's directed by Sam Raimi. So famous horror director who made The Evil Dead and others. He's also a guy that made Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 with Tobey Maguire and what is it? Oz the Great and Powerful. And him stepping into this franchise is not surprising at all because he's already kind of been in it with Spider-Man. But coming into a sequel is interesting. Like I'm never really sold on big, top tier directors coming in as like number 2, number 3 sequel directors.
What's this I hear about? Like, there's a shadow of like Dr. Xavier and all that kind of stuff. Is it bringing that sort of universe into it? Or?
Once again, and this is Spider-Man. I guess we have to thank for it to some extent. They're opening up the metaverse, so now we've got Marvel have kind of gone like, well, we've fucking run out of ideas. We're tapped out, so let's open this metaverse where we can pluck new shit and just can't explain it. Well, we can because it's a metaverse. Like it doesn't have to make sense. It's from another universe. So they're kind of going down that road. But the trailer itself, for fans that know Sam Raimi's work, is very Sam Raimi. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in there. So, hey, if your husband loves Doctor Strange, there's a movie from the 80s that I would recommend he check out called Dr. Mordred.
He won't like it.
He won't like what? Because it's 80s?
Mm-hmm. He won't like it. I'm telling you. He's a very specific type.
Okay.
It's very frustrating for me because it makes it hard for us to watch movies together.
Full Moon Studios or production company tried to make Doctor Strange back in the 80s.
I see.
Actually, I think, no, it was probably early 90s. And they couldn't get the rights to it. So they just changed the name and a few little things and ended up calling it Dr. Mordred. And it's a fun little movie. Like, it really is a cool little schlocky version of Doctor Strange. So
interesting. I've never even heard of it. So
if not for your husband, people watching, if you've never heard of it, go look that one up.
Definitely.
It's on Tubi, I think, somewhere like that. Worth a look.
If you want to talk about trailers, I did just watch the trailer for the new Baz Luhrmann Elvis. What's I don't even know what it's called. Is it called Elvis?
I think it's called Elvis.
Yeah. See, I am caught right now because I'm just not a huge Elvis person. I know you either love him. I don't think anyone hates him, but I'm kind of in the just like, it's Elvis, like his music is great, but I'm not like a super fan. Mm-hmm. But I love Baz Luhrmann. So I'm like, I'm going to watch it and I'm probably going to love it.
It might convert you too. You might become an Elvis fan. I completely agree. Elvis is a really divisive kind of figure and I've never been a huge fan. His music's never really spoken to me. It's always felt very contrived and derivative to me. But I do love the Elvis story. Like, he's got a really fascinating story to be told.
It's the story, yeah, definitely.
And I can take or leave Baz Luhrmann. I enjoy Baz Luhrmann a lot. I don't hold him to the high esteem that a lot of other people do. But
like me.
The trailer looks good. And, like there's plenty of people like you out there, and I'm not going to diss that because I still enjoy his films. I actually am one of the few people that will really get behind Australia. I really love Australia. I think that's a great film.
Yeah.
I think it's a misunderstood film. Even though Nicole Kidman came out and said that she regrets making that one. Fucking hell.
Whatever, Nicole. Whatever, Nicole.
Man.
You got to hang out with Hugh Jackman and Baz Luhrmann.
If you are well schooled in Australian cinema history, then Australia will mean a lot to you because it's a throwback to Charles Chauvel. And anyway, I'm looking forward to Elvis. Yeah,
look, it wasn't even on my radar and I didn't even think much of it. And, it's Baz Luhrmann, so I'm obviously going to watch it because that's just who I am as a person. And
even with Tom Hanks's dodgy accent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't love his prosthetics in the trailer, and I'm just not too hyped about. But it's Tom Hanks, so I'm gonna love him no matter what anyway. But
hey, maybe it wasn't prosthetics because maybe that was just after he had his
had COVID in Australia.
Yeah.
COVID gave him mumps.
It was the vaccine did it.
Whoa, this is getting heavy now. Jesus.
Watch the subtle switcheroo here. Oh, bought 2 coffees to the show.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you are needing it today, aren't
Last week I finished my coffee like 10 minutes in, and I struggled.
you? I just had a coffee while I was watching a TV show, so I didn't want to have a second one because I won't sleep otherwise. But
You'll be pinging all over the place.
I will be pinging.
What else? We've got about 5-ish minutes, maybe a bit more.
Well, if not to play on things that we've already talked about, I did also watch a clip from the new Batman, and I know we both hate this, but it intrigued me because, and I'll tell you why, I had no idea that Paul Dano was playing the Riddler.
You wouldn't know it though. Like, he's completely like...
I've not seen the Riddler in the actual trailer. I like Paul Dano. Like Paul Dano. I'm very intrigued about this movie now.
Google the Batman and Riddler, and they'll have a character profile picture because they've already put stills out.
Oh.
He doesn't. No, it's not the Riddler you know. He's like wearing full, like, it's a cross between hazmat and army gear, so it's like camouflage hazmat. And he's wearing like a big fucking... It doesn't
so you can't even tell that it's Paul Dano.
No, not at all. Not at all. But no, I'm seeing this one during the week, so maybe I can give you a bit of feedback on the next video.
Wednesday. Please.
I'm quietly confident. Once again, I don't get excited about these things, but I'm willing to give this one a shot, and should be all right. It's just too long.
Yeah, look, I was intrigued before. I'm definitely
cool.
I'm caught now, so I'm gonna have to get the kids babysat and watch this one in cinemas, I reckon.
Awesome.
Yep.
What do you
no soft drinks?
What do you think about the fact there's a new Michael Jackson biopic coming along?
There is.
Yeah, it's been directed or produced by the guy that made Bohemian Rhapsody. So he's obviously,
okay.
he's riding that train. Suddenly these biopics, Elvis is coming out. These biopics of big top performers are doing good things.
I'm surprised they got the rights.
Well, I think maybe the Jackson estate probably is going to leap at the chance because his name has been dragged through the mud so much over the last decade that maybe they're just looking for some positive reinforcement. And I'm happy to go along with it. I'm happy that they made one back in the 90s called The Jackson Story, which was like a 3-hour sort of mini series type of thing. Was
that about the Jackson 5 or was it about Michael specifically?
A bit of both. It was mostly the Jackson 5, but it did venture into his solo career. At that point in time when that was produced, his solo career wasn't that old. It was maybe 10 years old.
So when Michael Jackson died, I was actually living in the States at the time. And I was away. I was a camp counselor at an American summer camp. I had been away on a trip with my kids and I came home and everyone's like, Michael Jackson died. And I'm just like, fuck off. No, he didn't. He's not going to die. That's Michael Jackson. He doesn't die. So obviously it was true. And me and my best friend were traveling through LA and we did one of those little bus tours and it went past the Jackson estate, and for about 3 kilometers down the street there was just flowers and tributes and everything, and I still remember it to this day. Again, like Elvis, I was never just a huge I obviously enjoyed his music, but I wasn't huge on his life, or I didn't really listen to the media and all that kind of stuff on his life. But it'll be interesting to see if this comes out half as good as the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, I know it'll be interesting because like Bohemian Rhapsody is a very romantic kind of telling of the story, and I think this one will be too. And I think that's the way it's got to be done. I think when they get to Raw and Bones and All type of biopics, they just don't hit. Like I don't like watching some of that gross stuff, when they go into, he had like, tragic childhood, which he did. I kind of want this to be the story of him and his business model, getting into, the solo career and then having the paparazzi and like getting into that stuff. And then maybe, playing with the music and making the music tell the story, if that makes sense.
There are so many different ways they could play it. And they could take that lighthearted approach or they could take the dark approach because there are so many sides to it.
And it's so hard to do with the way his appearance transformed over the years.
Right.
How do you do it without looking like you're taking the piss? Like, it's got to be done in a way that is really tasteful.
And also the casting will be super, super important in this as well. So it'll be really interesting to see which way they go there.
There'll be digital augmentation, I'm sure of it. But like, I mean, that was the biggest thing I think the mistake made in Bohemian Rhapsody was I think they over caricatured Freddie Mercury. Like I think Rami Malek's teeth, which they were like almost accurate because Freddie Mercury did have big teeth, but I think they kind of emphasized them a bit too heavily in Bohemian Rhapsody, and that kind of just made it a bit too cartoony. Whereas
I think I didn't think that personally, but I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah.
I would like, actually thinking about it now, just come to me, I would like a Michael Jackson story told in the way that they did the Elton John one with Rocket Man, because that was just glorious. That was glorious.
I haven't seen that one, and I should, because Taron Egerton is just...
And the music is the story, right? So they sing what's happening half the time, and it's through the songs themselves. And it's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, we've gone through that. What else? I've got a couple of things here. Don't want to talk about a new Star Trek movie. That's boring.
I know nothing about Star Trek. That's it.
Star Trek is pretty amazing stuff, but that's all right. We'll skip it. Quiet Place 3 is coming, which is a third installment to the actual series and not the spin-off, because there's still a spin-off coming. So it's going to be the fourth film in total.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because that's a really fascinating series of films. Like, you haven't seen them, have you?
I have seen the first one.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, I want to see the second one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. They're like some of the only horror movies that I can actually watch.
Cool. Well, the second one is a much bigger film. It elaborates on the concept of the first one. It doesn't play the horror tropes like the first one does, because how the first one's definitely all silence and suspense driven. This one is much more, you see the threat as opposed to feeling it.
Yeah.
So it's a great, I like number 2 a lot more than number 1. So it'd be interesting to see how the spin-off goes and then the sequel, because they're really turning it into its own universe.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good on you, John. What can't you do?
Yeah. I don't know. We're just about out of time. Would you like to sing a song?
It's a small world after all.
Why did you choose that one?
It's the first thing that popped into my mind. I have no idea why.
Do you notice how I chose to sing a song from Luca?
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't get to the end of my second coffee.
Wow.
Anyway.
Cool work. Be better next time, please. Thank you.
I'll just bring the pot and just drink from that. With a straw.
Straight from the kettle, like.
Oh no, with a metal straw.
With a metal straw, not a silicone one.
You know what you can't do with metal straws? You can't put them into each other to make a longer straw.
Just what's the point then?
Unless I get pliers and squeeze the tip and get it in there. Till next week.
Squeeze the tip. I wish I'd jumped on that joke a little bit earlier.
And that's where I'll cut it.
Got a Maples poster hanging in front of me in my office here.